What's up guys, back out here today with another gear review for you. Today we're going to be taking a look, an in-depth review of the Pippet, a hand-forged blade from Jinja Ninja Outdoors, so stick around. Welcome back out here, my friends. Primal here with M.A.S.K Tactical and the Warrior Tribe, bringing you another gear review today on the Pippet, which is a blade named after a little bird made by my friend Sam Farnworth over at Jinja Ninja Outdoors. Right off the bat, you know, opening this thing, the first impressions when I got it out of the box, you know, it comes with a leather sheath, nests right down in there quite nicely. Basic leather sheath, but even the sheath itself is superb craftsmanship. It's just one of them things, you know, like from the sheath to the knife itself, it's just one of them things that you just, when you get in your hands, you can just feel the quality of it. It's just, you know, the weight's good, everything's aesthetically pleasing, the handle material's solid, the pins are solid, full tank construction. It's just like, you know, as far as like quality things goes, it's just one of those things that when you get it in your hand, you just know it's quality. To get this blade, you know, after admiring it for a while, you know, I was not disappointed when I first opened this thing and took a look at it. It looked phenomenal, exactly like the pictures, and it did not disappoint. So some of the first things that you're going to see when you open a blade from Jinja Ninja is a little bit of literature, and it comes with a certificate of authenticity. Which is really important, and I want to kind of make note of that, because like anytime you're dealing with anything that's handmade or a rare item, right? Like this is an art piece, right? I mean, like he can make them very, very similar to this, but he's never going to be able to make an identical matching, you know, blade such as this. So they'll be close, but you know, these are one-of-a-kind pieces. So anytime you're dealing with something that's one-of-a-kind or super rare, it's always really critical to have a certificate of authenticity, especially if you ever plan on selling it in the future. It'll just help, you know, reaffirm the quality of it or what's behind it. You know, later on in the future, you know, his stamp might be worn off of the blade or something like that, and you won't be able to just look at this blade and tell who it's made by. So you know, instead of somebody having to go off your word, they can go off a certificate of authenticity. So that helps in that aspect. So the knife model, like I said, is called the Pippet, named after a little bird. The blade steel of this knife is 1095 rasp. The handle material is paddock wood. It's got the forged guard, the wide guard right there, as you've seen in the up-close shots that I just showed you. It's got an etched hamon line, and the hamon line is basically caused by differential heat treatment. So essentially, to not make that sound really complicating, what it does is pretty much it hardens the cutting edge to a point to where it's actually harder than the spine itself, and the difference in that shows up in the hamon line. It looks really, really, you know, just like I said, guys, the aesthetics, the art factor of it. So that line that goes down the middle of the blade almost looks like a bevel there. It's just the etched hamon line that comes in there. So he actually dips this in acid and it etches that in there. And where this is made out of a rasp, you get that you know, that texturized look there, the little X pattern. And he also has like the hammered texture on the spine there, so just like super attention to detail and just quality aesthetics. It does, like I said, come with a leather sheath. That's the craftsmanship on it is just superb as well. Nothing but good things to say about the initial, you know, hands-on impression without testing its functionality first. You know, we're going to get into some cutting and things like that coming up here. But it also says who it was originally sold to. It's got his signature on there and the date of completion. So it's really nice to have a certificate of authenticity. And the next thing up, and I'm just going to read this to you guys, and I'll put it right here so you can pause this on the screen or whatever if you want to read it yourself. Basically, this is the process of forging a knife. So, you know, a lot of people don't understand that why hand-forged blades are so expensive, right? They're super expensive. This is a $200 knife by itself, and you know, that's just touching the surface of hand-forged work, believe it or not. So the process of forging a knife is something he likes to send with his stuff so people get a better understanding of what actually goes into it. Every knife he makes starts with raw steel that he heats up in one of his forges. Once the steel is 1700 degrees Fahrenheit, he starts to work it with arm and hammer. The process takes the piece of raw metal and transforms it into a knife blank. This blank is then ground into shape, and then the bevels are ground in. This is a critical part of the process. The bevel must be straight along the edge and be the right thickness to avoid warp in the thermal treatment process. Next, he heat treats the blade. This process is different with every type of steel, so you must be very careful. The basics are annealing, normalizing, hardening, quenching, and tempering. When the blade has correctly been heat treated, it is very hard and strong. Once the blade can be handled again, it is on to finish grinding. It's important that the blade is kept cool during this step. If the blade gets too hot, the heat treat has been compromised. When the blade has been finished to the desired point, it's then sharpened and it gets sent through a few tests so it can, you know, see if everything's been done correctly. He puts it through some cut tests and whatnot. So after that, the blade is ready for the handle. The handle is something that he takes a lot of care to get right. He feels it and holds it to make sure it's comfortable and rock solid. So that concludes the brief write-up on how he makes his blades. For videos of how he actually makes them, if you want to see it in action, you can check out his YouTube channel and website, which is Jinja Ninja Outdoors. So sorry if I butchered that a little bit, Sam, but basically he just wants you to understand the forge process and what he actually goes through to create a quality knife. So let's talk about size. We'll go ahead and pull out my tape measure here. Cutting edge, we are dealing with right at 3 inches, and the entire blade itself comes in just a hair over 7 inches long. The handle itself, just from the tip of the scales there, not like right where the guard starts, just from the tip of the scales, we're looking at a little over 3.5, and the thickness we are looking at the very base. Obviously it's tapering down to the front, so it's going to be a little thinner up top than it's going to be at the base here. So we are looking at right around 1/4 of an inch thick. So we're going to go ahead and do some cutting tests here, and we're going to test the tip strength and everything like that. We're just going to run through your normal cut test. You know, we're going to baton a little bit of wood, we're going to work on a feather stick, and I'm going to stab into this and we're going to test the tip strength. So we're going to go ahead and go with that first. So I'm going about 1/4 of an inch the way in there, not too deep, just testing the very tip. Nothing so far, so let's go a little bit deeper. pretty much going to do it for my review on the Pippet made by my man Sam Farnworth over at Jinja Ninja Outdoors. That's Jinja with a J. So be sure to go check out his website, and if you dig what this, if you dig this, you're probably going to like a lot of his other stuff too. So if you're looking for a good quality hand-forged blade, be sure to check out his website and all the other things that he's got. And he can also do custom work too, so don't be afraid to reach out to him. Moving forward, Sam is actually our new USA blacksmith here, and for our combatives blade. He's actually going to be helping us put our combatives blade into production, the Raptor. If you guys are a subscriber on the channel, you've probably already seen the video on this blade, but we've since made some modifications, and so we'll talk more about that in future videos. I don't want to get too deep into the Raptor again, just know that I'm really excited to bring that into production for you guys. So look guys, this was not a destruction test by any means. I just came out here with the intentions of giving you guys a comprehensive review of the blade and showing you the basics of its performance. I'm not a knife expert. I don't claim to be an expert in anything, but I do know a good bit about them. But I've held off over the last little while. I know a lot of you guys are probably wondering like why I don't do a lot of knife reviews, but basically it's just been because I'm such a perfectionist. I'm kind of OCD in that way, and I really wanted to be super educated on the topic before I really dove into, just like with everything else that I do. I don't really like to try to teach people something that I'm not really experienced in myself. I wanted to hold off on knife reviews specifically just so I could learn more about metal, the types of grinds, what they're best used for, handle materials, the forge process, right? I even went as far as to go down to Iron Mountain Metalcraft in Pigeon Forge, and I forged my very own railroad spike knife, the first blade that I've ever forged on my own, and learned a lot about the process. So that's just what I've been really focused on a lot the past few years. So I've learned a lot about knives over that time, and I'm ready to start doing some high-end knife reviews for you guys. So I really hope you dug this review. They're definitely going to get better as time progresses. And so if there's anything that I didn't mention about this, or if you got any questions whatsoever, don't be afraid to reach out and ask. I try to respond to all you guys in the comments. But anyway, guys, as always, thanks for watching. Thanks for everything you do for our our sponsors and affiliates, and our website, our business, and my family. Thanks for watching and being a subscriber. If you're not a subscriber, be sure to hit the subscribe button if you'd like to see more videos and awesome content. I try to put out a few new videos every single month, and I really put an effort into the quality of them. So as always, guys, thanks, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. We'll see you later. And if you're using a light colored paracord, you could just take a piece of big chunk of dirt and mark it that way, or some dark bark, scratch a mark on there. But for the sake of this, we're just going to use a little marker knot right there to